Hello, this is Marie Lundi, your local real estate expert. And so we have all seen rising prices at the gas pump, at the grocery store, and homeownership has not been immune to that, right? We have seen a rise in home ownership costs. And so today I want to talk to you about how you can lock in the cost of home ownership at today's mortgage rate so that you will be protected against inflation. Hey, by the way, if you've been enjoying my videos, feel free to subscribe to my channel, give it a like, and also forward it to your friends. And so I want to begin with this quote from Investopedia, which says that real estate is one of the time-honored inflation hedges. It's a tangible asset, and those tend to hold their value when inflation reigns, unlike paper asset. Most specifically, as prices rise, so do property values. So what we see here is that home ownership is one of those things that you can lock in the cost today. It's also an asset that increases in value over time. And as prices around us increase, when you lock in the cost of home ownership at today's mortgage rate, it's really a game changer when it comes to serving as a hedge against inflation tomorrow. This graph depicts what I mean by home ownership being used as an edge against inflation. Here we have the blue bar representing the inflation rate versus the green bar representing home price appreciation. And going back all the way to the 1970s, we see that home price appreciation outperforms the inflation rate. And that pattern is true through the 1970s, through the 1980s. The two, inflation rate and home appreciation rate, were more or less balanced. And we're seeing once again an uptick in the 1990s where home appreciation surpassed the inflation rate. And looking at the 2000s, we know that the real estate market was quite different. The lending guidelines were much more flexible. Homeowners did not have the level of appreciation or equity in their property. There was a collapse in the market. And as a result of that, the 2000s were unique in that home price appreciation was less because of the collapse of the real estate market than the inflation rate. But that was a unique situation because in the 2010s, we see a major increase in home appreciation versus the inflation rate, all the way up to our current market where we see a significant difference between home price appreciation, the value of properties versus the inflation rate. So over time, you can see that home ownership is generally looked at a great way to safeguard yourself against inflation because home values outperform the rate of inflation. And so as the cost of living continues to go up around us during an inflation, if someone buys a home today, they are able to lock in the cost of home ownership at today's rate and in turn protect themselves from rising cost of rentals. Bankrate says it well here when they say that a fixed rate mortgage allows you to maintain the biggest portion of housing expenses at the same payment. Sure, property taxes will rise and other expenses may creep up, but your monthly housing payment remains the same. That's certainly not the case if you're renting. In this graph, you can see that the cost of renting actually exceeds, in most cases, the inflation rate. So the blue line being the inflation rate, the green line being the rental price appreciation, and this has been tracked for the past 50 years, since the 1970s. You see that the green line, for the most part, exceeds inflation, which means that the cost of renting usually goes up as inflation goes up. In a lot of cases, it does exceed it greatly. And of course, there are some spots where the cost of renting was lower than the inflation rate. But for the most part, generally speaking, the cost of renting exceeds the inflation rate. And so Forbes really summarizes it well here when they say that homeowners are shielded from mounting rental prices because their cost is fixed regardless of what's happening in the market. Tangible assets like real estate get more valuable over time, which makes buying a home a good way to spend your money during inflationary times. And so I hope that this information was valuable to you. If I can help you with this topic further, please don't hesitate to contact me. Once again, this is Marie Lundi, here to help.